Hey guys, Kate here of Burn 1, bringing you Idolmaster Cinderella Girls Trancing Pulse Deck Tech. This is the deck list I used to get second place at the Family Time Games Indy Regional this past weekend for the NA WGP Nationals. So I'll be going to that in November and hopefully winning that. So to break down the list for you, if you're at all familiar with the Japanese meta as of late, the list is like super familiar. There's barely any spots in the deck that really change for the most part. So go down the zero game. We run a one of this zero. It's on play. Discard a climax, salvage a character, and the second ability is when this card attacks and damage is cancelled, I can send it to stock. It's there as utility since we do run Blue Gate, and also fulfills more red requirements. So since we do have a little bit of red in the level 1 game. Next, we run 4 of these Suiciders. These Suiciders are really good for denying opponents who have at level 1 climax combos that on reverse they get a search or salvage or something like that, since not only is it a level 0 Suicider, but it also has whenever your opponent plays a climax, you can choose to send it to stock. So it's a good way to possibly flood the field early when you know you're going to hit them the one anyway, and then if they decide to play their climax combo, you can just send everything to stock, and you gain free stock that way, and also they deny them of being able to use their climax combo to plus hand essentially. Next, we have 4 of this 0/0 Rin. It's from the first set. It's on play. You can discard a card from your hand, and then look at the top 4 and add a blue character card to your hand. Really good card to help manipulate the deck a lot, especially if you end up being out early or anything like that, or you need to set up your level 1 game, or filter your hand. The effect is probably my favorite effect in Weiss for quite a while now as far as utility goes. But you use that a lot to mill your deck and everything like that, and set up refreshes early during level 1 instead of being late into level 2. Next, we run 4 of this Brainstorm and Support. This is a core piece of the deck. You run this, the level 1, and usually the level 3 together. What it does is your other center row, I think it's now Rin, and I forget her name, I think it's like Ryoko or something, but they gain 1,000 power during statically. And then the second effect, which is the silly part about the deck, is that if you're running these 2 specific climaxes, the Gate and the Stock Soul, you can Brainstorm and mill 5 instead of 4, and if you hit one of those specific ones, you get a search for every one you hit, which is pretty silly. Lets you burn through the deck really quick, and especially after your first refresh, you're usually pretty compressed in this deck, so after that you can Brainstorm a couple times and you'll usually hit 1 or 2 like almost every Brainstorm. Next, our other beater is the 3/5 runner. So it's 2k, but if you have 2 or less stock it becomes 3/5, and it can run to center during your opponent's turn. It's really good just to dodge things, kind of plus a little bit, especially if for some reason if you're having trouble getting zeros to your hand, but you shouldn't since this deck has a lot of zeros for what it is. Then finally, you run a one of this Project Crone Alice. She's on play. Reveal top card if it's a music character, add to hand this one. And the second effect is I can discard, I believe a music character, from my hand to draw 1. It's pretty good to help kind of dig a little bit if you're trying to look for a climax or anything like that. And also top check if you reveal a climax, you just know to Brainstorm to plus. Next, we go to the level 1 game here, the 1/1 Support. This card's pretty silly too. So if you have the Brainstormer and this out, this gives plus 1,000 power to all your level 3 Rins. The Trancing Pulse Rin, that is. Then it gives global level support to all your music characters. The last effect is if you play the Stock Soul, Triad Primus, you can give one of your characters for the turn. If they're reversed or battling opponent, you can search your deck and add 1 to hand. So it's a really good climax combo for your 1/0 game, which is all basically beaters. You usually have no trouble reversing anything. And then you get a compress and build a lot of stock for like no reason basically. So it's an amazing card, and at level 2 and 3 you just give so much power to everyone on your field. Next, the beaters, we have the 1/0 Rin. It's 5/5, but if you have 3 or more other music characters in the field, it gains another 1,000, so it's a 1065 like all the time. And then its last effect is on reverse, when this gets reversed in battle, it gets into the bottom of your deck. Kind of awkward to merit sometimes. It really depends how you line it up, how close you are to refreshing, how many climaxes you have in your deck. But sometimes it's really good because it'll die one turn, then you brainstorm and you just search it out and play it again because you don't really play too many 1-0s in this deck. Well, this version, we kind of play a little bit more than normal. I think a lot of Japanese players play like 7 levels, level 1s. But yeah, so that happens, and also if there's a climax on the bottom, it helps you force it to get back into your deck if you cancel. Next, we play 2 of these 1-0 now. If the card in front of this card is higher level than it, then it can't front attack. It's a 1-0-6-5. I ran a little less than normal. I think a lot of Japanese lists run like 3 or 4 instead of running 4 of the Rin. But going to this regional, I'm not really familiar with the meta out here in Indy, but I feel like a lot of people play a lot of random level 2s, and especially if I run into Bakemono, I'm going to run into a lot of 2/2s. So this card becomes less relevant to me, at least for the most part, so I decided to bump it down to 2. Next, we run 1-0 Suicider. It's 3/5. Kills level 1s that I can't kill with my normal beaters because they're too strong, or or I hit like against 1/1s. Like this was most relevant in my Railgun matchup, even though it didn't really kill anything, but it was able to help me smooth out my game. And then this is the reason we run so much red at 0, is for this 1-0 whenever there's something at level 1 we can't kill. Finally, we run 2 1-0 counters. They're 1-0 2K counters. They're just good, especially when you have center field is usually one of these cards, so it's at 8K with both supports in the back, and then you can counter to 10K, which is great. Next, at level 2, we run the 2-1 anti-change counter. Amazing, can dodge abilities and stuff like that and kill early play level 3s that we can't handle. Next, I ended up running one of these 2-1 anti-level 3 nows. It has a climax combo with the blue gate, but it's not that relevant, but it's still like okay. So it gains a bunch of power and everything and can bottom tech level 3s when it attacks, which is great. When I'm dealing with things on the side lanes, sometimes the side lane is harder to kill things for me at level 2, especially if I cancel a lot at level 2 and they start playing a bunch of level 3s on the side that I can't deal with. It prevents them from kind of free plussing for the most part, and gets rid of things like the Shinobu level 3 that top checks in Bakemono, which could be really annoying and stuff if it's out there for like so many turns. It helps them cancel a lot, especially if I get into the late game with my finisher. Next, this is kind of like a level 2, level 3 play. It's the early play Rin from Trancing Pulse. So Trancing Pulse Rin, if you have 2 or less climaxes in your waiting room, it gets -1 level, which is pretty easy to fulfill since you have a lot of deck manipulation with a Brainstorm that mills 5, the 0-0 that top checks 4, so basically mills 4. So you have an easy time consistently getting this out at level 2. There was only 1 game out of the 5 I played where I couldn't get it out early, but wasn't a big deal since I was ahead in that game. And then on play it has heal, and then the other effect is, which is pretty good too, is if it's in the center slot, it gains the effect of, it gains 500 for every other music character on your side of the field, and then your opponent can't play backups from their hand. So you can usually attack with this first if you think they have an anti-change counter, and they can't anti-change it that immediately, so you still get the damage in and everything, and then you swing somewhere else, and then they might try to kill it then. Finally, the finisher of the deck is the Power of Smile Rin. Has a climax combo with Triad Primus. On attack, you can, or when another one of your other characters attacks, you can pay 3, discard 1 to stand the card. It doesn't matter if it's reversed or anything like that. So it makes it really easy if their opponent has empty field or something, and you need to like basically push for a game. It makes it very easy to stand them because the only requirement is having another character attack and having the stock to pay. But another part of this card that makes it pretty silly too is has on play, draw 2, ditch 2, and then draw up to 2, then ditch, discard 2 cards, then take the top card of your deck and put it to stock. So it's essentially a 3-1. So it makes it a lot easier to, if you slam 3 of these on the board, a lot easier to manage your stock to do all 3 basically. And basically your game plan is slowly wake your compress, Then make your way up to level 3 and just slam 3 of these on and then go crazy until you have no more stock for the most part. There are times though where you have to be a little careful and actually do some math to make sure you're not going too crazy over swinging with these. Sometimes it's better not to play these and just go out with one soul beaters or something to actually finish the game. And then with this card too, you need to watch out for opportunities to side attack whenever you can. So you can set up like exact damage with multiple swings with these. But besides that, the deck is actually, in my opinion, pretty brain dead for the most part. It doesn't play itself, but there's not too many hard decisions to make as far as the deck goes. Some of the hardest decisions you might have would be attack order for the level 3 and basically, yeah, attack order level 3 and how you mill out your deck and whether you're going to run these in to bottom deck them at times and things like that. But really, nothing too crazy to worry about. Besides that, that's the deck. It runs really great. Oh, I'm sorry. These also heal too. I don't know if I said that, but yeah. So the Indy regional went great. Didn't have any troubling matches. The one match I might have had some trouble in the beginning. I ended up being a level and a half ahead the entire game. So even though I had like 2 cards in hand for the whole game, it was just still rolled over them because they just didn't cancel it. And I had some really crazy cancels early on at level 1. Right before refresh, I canceled 3 times. So it was really unfortunate for them, but lucky for me. So I'll be heading to Rochester, New York to play in the Nationals, and I think I have a pretty good shot this year of actually making it, taking the whole title, hopefully. But besides that, yeah, if you enjoyed the deck tech, like, follow, subscribe. I'll be posting up more deck tech soon, along with possibly interviews and more match videos for sure. This weekend I'm going to the Ohio Regional, and since I have my invite already, I'll just be helping them out and also recording matches, so hopefully we'll get a bunch of that up. I'm not sure if I'm going to add commentary to the matches yet or not, but we'll see what happens. Alright, have a good day.